Hey, what's going on? This is your boy E. Jones. You watching From the Bottom to the Top.
Bottom to the Top Hoops, what we like to do is we like to basically put you on to what's going on. Creating highlight reels, what we are setting the platform up for. Kids that are not on the radar, where we can give them a look and get them a look. All right? And log on to that bottomtothetop.hoops.com.
Hey, what's going on? This is E. Jones here, City Legends, Bottom to the Top Hoops with Coach Tiny Morton, Nazareth High School, Nazareth Regional High School. What's going on, Coach?
How you doing?
Good, man, good. So, here to talk about the history of New York City basketball, obviously the influence you've had on it. At a new program, first year here, you guys are off to a great start. How is it being in a new situation?
Oh, it's great. So fresh minds and fresh thoughts and fresh people. Definitely amazing right now.
Just being in a new situation like this, obviously, with a new administration, you've been at Lincoln, obviously we'll talk about that a little bit, with all the things you've been able to accomplish. What do you think the first thing you had to do in terms of establishing a culture and understanding what you wanted to build going forward?
Product, people that you bring in along with myself. I think that's the first and most important thing is who's your company.
Okay.
And the administration see who your company is. They kind of know who you are. So
the coaches, that's from the JV level, freshman level, kids understanding there's something new and exciting being built, then everything else kind of goes downhill with recruitment and all that kind of stuff with the program.
Yeah, that's a major part.
Okay, so as I you guys got a game today, big one against Lincoln.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that you guys can obviously do that. It's got the whole public school, Catholic school, Brooklyn, former school. So what is your general feeling about the game today? Like, how do you feel going into it? Is it anxiety, nerves?
No, this one's a little bit more comfortable because it's family, it's fun.
Okay.
It's not, we're not fighting for a championship. We're just having fun, bringing the community together.
And it's at your place.
Yeah.
Right? That makes it a little more comfortable. So going back in the history of New York City, what made you get into coaching? Because obviously, we talked a little bit earlier, playing Division I basketball, playing at Lincoln, getting a chance to win a city championship there. What made you get into coaching in the initial?
Goals or dreams of mine. It was timing. I was assistant coach at Lincoln High School, and the head coach wasn't planning on coming back.
Bobby Harstein?
Yes, Coach Harstein wasn't planning on coming back, and I was qualified, and I was there, and the AD offered me the job, so it was kind of like.
And what's interesting is one of the things I wanted to ask you is there's a really big difference that I found where people who are coaching and teaching in the building. Mm-hmm. Of a school, especially on the high school level, I think you have a bigger impact and you can actually build a program better when you're physically there. So you were a teacher at Lincoln, correct?
No.
You didn't teach at Lincoln?
No.
So now with that being said, you actually were able to do it the opposite way, so what was your take on it?
Well, walking them those hallways and those footprints, as a basketball player and as a student, that helped me out.
Okay.
Especially, playing under Coach Harstein. So I was fresh from that, playing from Coach, and then watching him coach, stuff on his senior year. So that helped me out also.
Okay.
So I really just tried to mirror what he did when I was a student.
So was it like when you came in the building, because of the relationship you had and the respect that you had from the teachers, they're like, such and such had this, and such and because they knew that you could obviously control situations. Was it something where the teachers counted on you to kind of keep the energy of the building, regular students and athletes, to make sure that there was kind of control?
Nah, I mean, it's a teamwork.
Right.
It's teachers and it's administration and it's the students. Mm-hmm. It's a teamwork where where everyone feel that the goal is to get the kids to the next level.
Right.
You know, so that's what's so good about Lincoln. Lincoln, you know, even though it's a public school, we kind of ran it like a college, you know, in terms of administration.
It's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids, a lot of diversity. So, you know, I kind of didn't like when certain people would label our kids the basketball team, so on and so on. You know? So my motto was when season is not on or during the day, you treat the kids like it was a normal student. I don't want to, no special treatment or advantage or disadvantage because they play a sport.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the success that you've had as a coach. 9 city championships, 4 state championships, 1 as a player, 1 as an assistant coach. Now, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. What do you think was been the main ingredient to be able to attain that success and be able to repeat it in terms of what you instilled in the program?
Me, not to change, not let basketball or families or situation change me. You know, stay straight, stay real.
Coaching a bunch of kids that were getting a ton of attention, you know, Lance, Sebastian, a bunch of kids, you know, Isaiah, and obviously Sebastian going straight out of high school, media, you know, sneaker companies, agents, all of those kind of things are coming into the fold. So you're at the center of what is the best conference in the city, right? Brooklyn AA, and you have the best team with the best player. Like, how do you stay even in terms of making sure the kids are still performing at a high level, not letting attention get to them?
Treat our team as a family, you know. It's the specialties in everyone's family, but make sure everybody's treated as fair and equal as possible. Just to pass along history to the kids that's presently playing, let them know, you know, how they got here. It's not because of what they did, it's probably because of what was done, you know.
Because you never see yourself how people see you, right? So the legacy that you leave, and when I look at it independently, just as a basketball guy, right? I say to myself, here's a guy who mentored, coached, taught kids, was able to do it and have a bunch of success. Do you ever stop and actually appreciate the things you ever accomplished, or because you're in the mix, you just on to the next?
Both.
Okay.
You know, my day job keeps me humble. You know, I teach elementary to junior high school, so that kept me humble through the years. You know, because you see, you're actually teaching kids who don't really care or don't know anything about the sport. You
know, being an elementary school teacher, juggling it, you know, basketball coach, you know, traveling. You guys always played a national schedule. One of the things that I've always admired, you always, you know, kind of gravitated toward the competition, Catholic school, out of state. Do you think that was a big reason why kids look forward to kind of playing at Lincoln, because they knew they were going to be in the national spotlight?
Yes, that's an important ingredient, is to make sure the competition is at the highest level as possible. That's probably one of the reasons. And personality, I think our personality, you know, was neutral. You know, we play up tempo. You know, got kids from the projects, got some kids from the suburbs. So it was a mixture at a public school, which I always thought was, you know, unique.
Yeah, I mean, you guys attracted talent from all over, and obviously what you were able to do at the school is unprecedented. So now when I look back at it, again, I'm looking at it from a bunch of different perspectives. Being a coach, being a fan of the game, I always thought it was the fact that you had talent. But as you know, talent doesn't always win championships. You got to be able to coach those kids. You know, the coach usually never takes the credit, right? Coaches is all the kids play the game. But at the end of the day, it's ego, there's personalities, there's families, there's a bunch of things. So that balance, you know, I just want to be able to acknowledge what you did, the job that you did as a coach, and being able to have that sustainable success. And now moving forward, you go to another program and you guys are automatically successful in the first year. I know the school was good prior to that, but now if you look out to it and say, where's the future of Nazareth H.S? I can tell you what I see, but I know you have a whole separate vision. So how do you see it based on what you've done and kind of where you want to take it?
Similar, very similar. I mean, we definitely want to win on the court. You know, it's a Catholic school, so perception might be a little bit different. We might get those kids that went to Seton Hall and get them to go to Columbia now.
Okay.
You know, so that'd be great. Get the bench players that don't get the spotlight and give them more spotlight. In terms of the universities they attend. I'm looking forward to that more than anything. As an AD, see if I can put some imprint on other sport programs. My goal was, what I can give back as a coach is try to coach coaches. A lot of coaches are not on the job training, so you don't usually get that mentorship as a coach. And as a teacher, that kind of figured that out. That even as a mature teacher, you still can always have a mentor. Somebody to help you out for some new tricks and so on.
One of the things that you mentioned is coaching coaches, and the show is all about bringing light to New York City and the basketball. So I just want to get your perspective. I've always shared that I thought that the talent is a little spread out. We have good kids that are talented, but they may not go to school here. There's situations where kids that are actually good may not get enough exposure, whatever the case may be. So what would you say would be your opinion on the current state of New York City basketball?
Like New York City, all over the place. It's all over the place. You don't know. You actually don't know. Who to follow. Because following sometimes it's a good thing if we got the right system working. So like I said, it's all over the place. It's not.
So in terms of Tiny's at Nazareth now, we kind of know what's going to happen, right? We can foresee it. Without you saying it, I'm saying it. We can foresee the success is coming. It'll be a program that'll be formidable for years to come. Now, I'm a young coach. I'm trying to say, hey, I want to follow in the Gary DeCesa's footsteps. I want to follow in the Mo Hicks's footsteps. How do I, as a young coach, say, you know what, I want to take on the mantle and be the next Tiny Morton? Like, what is the first step I take in terms of trying to become somebody who raises a great program?
I really think you have to find a mentor, if it's even quiet aloud. When I first started, even though I coach and I played for Coach Hart's team, and I took some of his strategies, I was a big fan of Mo Hicks.
Great coach.
Mr. Coach Mathis.
From Kennedy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
mentor of mine as well.
And our guy Rose.
Okay.
So I was a great fan of those guys in terms of the way they played. They coached the game of basketball. And then just from my experience, traveling a little bit, being at Flint Hill Prep for one year. I kind of took some of that too in terms of trying to be a little bit more organized.
Virginia, Flint Hill,
Yeah.
Oxon Hill, right?
No, Falls Church.
Okay.
So new coaches have to, try to get their feet wet by try to model something to someone, because you can't rewrite this really. You really can't rewrite it. The blueprint is already there. You just gotta, try to
Put your own spin on it.
It's a new type of kid now, so you gotta try to get in contact with the kids and what they thinking and so on, and how they moving, because that's more important than anything.
And I was listening to a coach on TV, and he was saying that when the kids take accountability for the team, that's when your team has arrived, and it's not you coaching effort, it's not you coaching discipline. You have seniors groups or you have kids who are veterans who kind of lead that, and they know what the expectation is.
True, I agree. Yeah, that's true. I agree.
So now talk about a lot of the things that happened in the past year. Obviously, moving on to a new situation. Everybody has a take on it. Everybody has an opinion. If you want to just expound a little bit about your perspective and how you saw it from your view. In terms of leaving Lincoln and moving on to the new situation.
When I left Lincoln to go to Seton Hall, the pitch was great, the situation was great, and it was a good, and it was a win-win for me.
Okay.
So that's why I made that move. Coming back to Lincoln, it was the same. Things I felt at Seton Hall, I felt comfortable about it, so I didn't need to be there anymore. I looked, I could come back and finish up my pension, and still coach some kids. So that was a win-win also. So leaving Lincoln, it was more or less just being tired of people not seeing, and I'm not talking about the kids, some administration not seeing what the real goal is. I felt people really thought it was about basketball. I thought they really thought I really cared about basketball, more or less using basketball. So that's what I got kind of a little frustrated and tired that people didn't understand that we all should be trying to push these kids to college.
I mean, thanks for sharing that. And I think just as you said, in talking about mentoring and teaching young coaches, that's a message that kind of gets missed sometimes. Because as coaches, we're measured by our wins and losses. So as you've won more games than you've lost a lot more, you have the leverage to be able to say, you know what, I want to design it and I want it to look this way. So as a young coach, a lot of the times I might not have the leverage or the voice to be able to say, you know what, this is, so you got to kind of stand your ground, find that balance and be able to say, hey, I'm going to try to get this thing right, but let's do this the right way. So it speaks again to your other point about mentorship. When you're in that space where you're 2-6 and they're saying, hey, what's going on? We're making an investment. You got to win games. High school is a little different than college. So
much different.
So college, you got to win. So you know what I mean? It's a very delicate balance. And as you speak to, the administration, I think it's just something that the young coaches need to know going into it. Like, you got to know what you're about, what your stance is, and how you want this to look, because it's not their career, it's yours, and it's your legacy. So as you leave a legacy, leaving from Lincoln going here, they already know, I'm sure, in the conversations with them here, what you wanted to have happen at this school. Mm-hmm. So how did that play out?
I mean, yeah, they probably have an idea on what I did in the past. They probably don't know how I did it and how much work is put in, as far as teachers and so on, parents and so on. Mm-hmm. But before I said yes over here, I kind of did my homework, and I knew it was a situation where we had a chance to do something special over here. Mm-hmm. The school is a little bit sounded kind of like a prep school. Mm-hmm. Remind me of my prep school I went to, because it's small. Mm-hmm. In terms of the population. Most of the teachers, just normal people from our neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't, something I was coming from. Okay. When you had to, had so many people make final decisions on people's lives.
We try to have some fun with it. Best player you coach.
Best in terms of what?
Impact on games. Like total impact. Defense, leadership, offense, the ability to just change games and make plays.
That's different. That's a good question.
Doesn't have to be one.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Okay.
I don't have one.
We'll give you two.
The reason why, I can't say I coached Stephon, but Stephon was definitely,
of course,
probably the best player from Lincoln. The reason why I'm so fond about Sebastian is because he came behind LeBron, and people don't understand the hype machine they had behind LeBron, and he was right there, and he was right there with the...
Well, I'm a student of the game, so the basketball diary from the Slam magazine, he followed up behind LeBron, I saw it all happening.
But people don't know, when we sat and hung out with LeBron was Sebastian fan, Sebastian idol. No, Sebastian was LeBron idol. He kind of, gravitated to him more or less the other way. And maybe because, we was getting the New York hype, we was, one time we was in Vegas, usually you rent caravans or minivans. I was new to the game, so I rent drop tops, Cadillacs.
Right.
I was just being me.
Right.
LeBron seeing us was like, wow.
Yeah, because it's swag, it's like New York dudes, it's the way you walk, the way you dress, everything.
So, Sebastian really took the game on a different level with the media, and he also...
And he had personality.
Exactly. He had that gap.
Yeah, the it factor.
That gap, marketability, so his imprint on the game all ends.
So now, toughest player you coached?
Lance.
Okay, that was a quick one.
That was easy.
Okay, now, best team you coached?
I'm looking at one up there.
Okay.
Undefeated in the city.
Donald Flores.
No bona fide Division I players. You know, many transfers. You know, so that's one of them. I remember I had a team when I had about 9 Division I players. And one of the last years we had Padgett, Maryland, we had Kent State, we had what else went to Division I? Obviously Lance went to Cincinnati. I mean, I can't, maybe 1 or 2 teams.
Okay.
Even Sebastian, our first year we won the championship, that was a good team. So I can't.
So do you have a favorite moment as a coach of all of the championships and the, you know, maybe going to a kid's graduation or seeing a kid who maybe was a kid who
my
maybe,
son, you know, playing South Shore, and we were down. You know, we were down. It might have been his junior year. We were down, and he had a big 3 in the corner. It almost had me, you know, tear a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. That was one of them, and then the other one that really almost had me, you know, tearing is. But
you held it back though.
Yeah, I had to. Bud was telling his team.
Bud from Jefferson.
Yeah, telling his team to leave my son open. Don't leave him alone. He's not gonna hit the shots. He kept hitting shot after shot after shot. That was
he showed up.
Yeah, it was major.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is you know, when you talk about basketball and you speak about your son and Lance and all these kids that have been able to go on and bigger than basketball, they've been able to provide for their families. They've been able to give inspiration to kids who are coming behind them. And even when you speak about your son and the goals and dreams that any dad has, and then you see those things come to fruition, it's like the dreams that we dream about, it may turn into something else, right? So you coaching your son probably is like, man, this is like one of the coolest things. On some days, one of the toughest things, right?
Yes.
But to see him go through that, be able to move on and become productive, that's got to be very gratifying in terms of knowing you had that impact on all of those kids.
Like you said, we dream of going high. Sometimes we don't reach that high, but as long as we reach, you know, some form of success, then the dreams will go with it.
I want to thank you for taking the time to speak about your situation. We salute you, man. We wish you the most success, and hopefully you get that win against Lincoln today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Right.
Thanks. Tiny Morton, Nazareth High School, watching from the bottom to the top.
You know, any feedback, you know, any kids you feel we missed that we should cover, you know, hit me up, email me at onebblackelvis@gmail.com. We're willing to listen.